Voices in the background, people crying, some lamenting, some weeping. The pain was overwhelming for everyone in that house. This is a story of a man called LoveGreat's. He was born with a silver spoon, but at 2 years old, the cruel side of life showed him its darkest face. Godwin and his wife Mavis are the parents of the little LoveGreat. They got married at the right time in life. They loved each other deeply, but for many years their home was silent. No sound of a child, no sound of laughter. In every other area of life they flourished, but the gift of children eluded them. After 10 long years of waiting, prayers and hope, Mavis finally conceived and gave birth to their only son, LoveGreat. From the very beginning, LoveGreat lacked nothing. His parents adored him and life seemed perfect until one fateful day, tragedy struck. One day, Godwin and Mavis left LoveGreat in the care of his nanny and traveled. They never returned. Their journey became their transition to the world beyond. The plane they boarded crashed and there was no survival. Back home, their loved ones and employees waited anxiously for their return, but the news spread quickly. Godwin and Mavis were gone forever. In their absence, the loyalty once professed by family and workers crumbled. Greed took over. Everyone scrambled to grab whatever they could from the couple's wealth, each one thinking only of themselves. Among those who frequent the house was a young woman named Sarah. She was not family nor a servant, just a simple woman who came twice a week to collect the trash. One day she arrived as usual and noticed the unusual crowd moving in and out of the mansion. Curious, she asked questions and was told the heartbreaking news. Shocked, but she quietly finished her work and left. When she returned the following week, the house was deserted. Life had moved on for everyone else. But then she saw something that stopped her in motion and got her attention. Little LoveGreat sitting all alone, playing with his toys. No one was there for him. She called out, hoping someone would answer, but the silence was louder than words. She waited until evening, expecting someone would return for him. No one came. Sarah was sad with the situation and compassionate towards the little LoveGreat. She picked him up and took him home. She returned several times afterward, hoping to meet someone, but never met anyone again. Her work at the house ended automatically, but her new role had just begun. From that day, Sarah became his mother, the mother LoveGreat lost. 23 years later, LoveGreat had grown into a young man. Life with Sarah had not been easy. They struggled to make ends meet. Sarah was merely a janitor, cleaning and picking trash from the estate. They could barely get on with a decent life. Yet, Sarah loved him so much as her own. One day, she sat with him and revealed the truth. Sarah told LoveGreat everything. "You deserve to know the truth, son. You are not my biological son. Your real parent had left behind an empire that was rightfully yours. They died in an air crash when you were barely 2 years." She told him it was time to go and claim what belonged to him. Loveday was confused initially, but out of curiosity, he got up. He did some undercover investigation. He found out his true identity. At the end of the investigation, LoveGreat realized his mother Sarah had told him the truth. he took his step to recover everything that belonged to him from the wicked people who took it away from him. First approach, he went to the bank. But when he tried to access his father's wealth, he was told his father left a condition that must be met before his assets will be released to anyone who claims to be the next of kin. LoveGreat was handed a sealed note. In it is the condition from his father. LoveGreat refused to open the note for fear of not knowing what to expect until he got home, sat with his mother, and they opened the note. They opened the note, and here is the content of the note. Every asset belonging to me, Mr. Godwin, should be bequeathed to my son, my only son, on one condition. He must provide the toy I gave him during his first year birthday. In that toy, inside the toy, is my will. It will define how everything will be shared. But in the absence and where he is unable to provide the toy and the will in the toy, he will bequeath everything to some orphanages which were listed inside the note. 90% of everything bequeathed to those orphanages, while only 10% should be divided between two persons mentioned in the notes. One is his uncle and the other one is he himself, who claims to be the son. They were confused after reading that note. They didn't know what to do. Madam Sarah, his mom, sat still and quiet after reading the notes. But then, this is what happened. She remembered the day she picked LoveGreat from the house, the mansion, his father's mansion, where he was left alone playing in the house. He was holding a beautiful toy, playing with that toy, and she could remember taking the toy along with him. Immediately she called her son LoveGreat and said, "Son, do you remember your toy? That could be the toy your father is asking for." Toy? That toy that is so old? Could that be the toy they are asking for? Madam Sarah said, "Yes, my son, that is the toy your father is asking for. This note has stated he gave you that toy during your first year birthday." LoveGreat got up, ran into the house, and began to turn everywhere upside down in search of this toy. After a long search, he found the toy dumped in an old store. The bank called in the solicitor named in that written note, because there are other clauses that need to be met. The solicitor came in and instructed LoveGreat, whom he's just meeting for the first time after so many years, to go get his baby picture. LoveGreat refused to release that toy to anyone. He went back with it to get a baby picture. On the scheduled meeting day with the lawyer and bank representative, LoveGreat presented his baby picture and the toy. The lawyer went ahead to read his own will, and the will states, "Mr. Godwin, who is the writer of this will, must have been gone by the time this will is being read. Here is his will. Mr. Godwin had instructed that the toy he handed over to his son at his first year birthday be opened up. Right inside the toy is his will, inside a golden box. Also inside the toy is the picture of himself and his wife and their little baby as one family. If the picture of the little boy in the toy is the same with the baby picture presented by the person who is claiming the will, then the box will be opened. But if the baby picture is different, the will be shared according to the description in the first note, which is 90% to orphanage homes as listed, 10% shared between his only brother and whoever is claiming to be his son. At this point, everybody was curious, so the lawyer took the toy and opened it up. Lo and behold, here is a golden box and a picture. LoveGreat's became so emotional because he was seeing his parents for the first time, but not in real life, in picture. His real parents, he saw them in a picture, and they began to compare the little baby in the picture with the little baby picture LoveGreat's presented, and that was exactly him. No one could question the identity anymore. So the lawyer went ahead and opened the golden box, and here is the will. The lawyer went ahead to explain how it all happened. One day, Mr. Godwin and his wife came to his office. Mr. Godwin demanded he wanted to write his will. He went ahead, wrote his will, and after the will was sealed and signed, Mr. LoveGreat's collected the will from the lawyer, which is unusual according to the lawyer, but he could not question him. He is the owner of the will, so he may choose to do whatever he wants to do with the will. So Mr. Godwin took the will and left. Now the bank officials took over from the lawyer. The next day, Mr. Godwin came to the bank with another note, and that note is the note that reveals there is a toy somewhere that contains the will. That note he kept in the bank, hoping that one day somebody will come to identify with that note. So the golden box was opened and the will read, and 99% of his properties was willed to his son, LoveGreat's. LoveGreat's was happy and at the same time was sad because a lot of work needs to be done. Almost all of those properties are in the hands of the people who were managing it before his father died. Most of them have taken ownership without knowing that there's a document somewhere that says properties belongs to him. However, the lawyer, the bank officials gave him all the necessary support, and in no distant time, LoveGreat recovered everything that actually belongs to him. All the unfaithful servants of his father who took over his father's property, he let them go, relieve them of their jobs and duties. LoveGreat, who is a struggling young man, suddenly became so wealthy, controlling huge sum of money and a lot of properties. This is the story of LoveGreat. I hope you learned from it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the stories we come with on this channel.